So I first heard about Juice Plus from my sister-in-law, Emily, and I just thought, what does she know about nutrition and health? She didn't have any kind of medical background at all. And I was a nurse, and I'd never heard of anything like Juice Plus that could actually help us with our health. So I pretty much ignored her and never would let her tell me a whole lot about it. But then my husband got sick. He got sick all the time. He was traveling for Dell and would come back home after a business trip, and he was always getting a cold. And so one time he was having a hard time shaking that cold. So Emily was very sweet and gave him like a month's supply of the Juice Plus capsules and said, just see if it can make a difference and help him out. So he took them. And after about a couple of weeks, I asked him, so how's that working out for you? And he said, well, I'm sleeping better, and I'm have more energy, and I'm better focused at work. And so I just went, that's a placebo. And so he threw the rest away. And so fast forward 4 years, I'm a hospice nurse. I've been a nurse for 42 years. And so I was listening to a dietitian at our work talk about her own health journey and how she had, and she wasn't pushing anything. She did not have any kind of agenda. And so I really was listening to what she had to say and respected what she had to say. So she was telling us about her own story. She had had psoriasis since she was age 10, and she had been in and out of hospitals trying to control it. It got so bad in her 20s that they were going to declare her disabled because she couldn't get her hands around a steering wheel to drive herself to work because of her cracked and bleeding skin. And so they tried all the meds that they could, all sorts of ointments. She'd been in and out of the hospital trying to control her psoriasis. And the doctors finally said, the last thing we have to offer you is methotrexate, which is a chemo drug, which dampens your immune system. And she was not wanting to do that. She was like, I'll do anything. I'll change my diet. And the doctors were like, not aware that diet could do anything. But she got online as a dietitian and found something that sounded reasonable, that had helped other people with their psoriasis. So she did that, and it was basically a plant-based diet, no processed foods, a ton of fruits and vegetables. And she said within 2 weeks she was just feeling better in general. And then after that, it took about 4 to 5 months, and most of her psoriasis was totally gone. She doesn't claim that it's cured, but she says it is totally under control. And if she starts eating badly because she's on vacation, she'll get it back in patches. But as long as she sticks to eating a ton of plant foods, then her psoriasis is pretty much under control. She was also had asthma in the past and was allergic to dogs. And she says she hadn't used her inhaler in years, and she owns a dog now. So she was telling us this, and it had happened for her about it was 10 years later that she was telling us this story. So that made me sit up and take notes. I was amazed that food could be that much of a powerful tool for our health and wellness and preventing diseases too. So then my sister-in-law, Emily, she wanted me to go see the movie Forks Over Knives. It was a documentary. And the dietitian had actually recommended seeing that also because it had just come out to the movie theaters. So since the dietitian had recommended it, I went with Emily, and we saw how this cardiovascular surgeon had helped people with their heart disease. And that spoke volumes to me because my dad had died of a heart attack when he was 38, left my mom with 5 kids to raise on her own. And it was just devastating. And I've always worried that I was going to wind up the same way with some kind of heart disease. So the Forks Over Knives documentary was just all about how powerful food and plants are. So then I went to see the dietitian for my own health. She had changed her practice to healing and preventing diseases. So she wanted to know why I was there. And I told her about my dad. I was there for prevention. And so the first thing that she told me that I needed to do was eat, because she'd seen my diet history, to eat 4 cups of leafy greens a day. And I just was like, sure, okay. So I just didn't know how I was going to do that. But I was going to give it a try. However, in the meantime, I went to my sister-in-law and said, okay, I had to eat crow. Tell me about this Juice Plus thing. And so she explained it, and what really spoke to me was the science behind it. At the time, they had 32 different research studies that were peer-reviewed, gold standard. As a nurse, I was totally interested in the science. Testimonies are great, but you don't always know if you trust people or the company. So the fact that they had so many research studies and so many doctors were promoting it, the fact that a premier infectious disease doctor and a very well-respected pediatrician, Dr. Sears, was involved with this company, spoke to me. And so I was just blown away by by the legitimacy of the Juice Plus company. So, but I was still planning on eating all my fruits and veggies. And so I put my husband on it first because he had a crummy diet to begin with. And he got on it. And after a couple of weeks, I said, so how's that working for you? And he went, I'm sleeping better. I have more energy and I'm better focused at work. So I was like, okay, so I guess this is the real deal, because we had done our own little experiment with him. So after my husband had been on it for a while, he was able to stop taking his Advil. He woke up, I didn't know this, he woke up every morning and took 3 Advil every morning, killing his kidneys. And because his hands hurt so bad from arthritis. And I never even realized that. So he told me after he'd been on it for about 4 or 5 months, I think, that he just decided to see if maybe his hands wouldn't hurt without the Advil. And sure enough, he has not taken any Advil in the last 6 years for his hands, achy hands. And he also had chronic allergies. He had year-round allergies. He took something every day for his allergies. And he hasn't had to do that. He gets some, if cedar is really high, he'll have to take something in a seasonal time, but it's not nearly as bad as it used to be. So I finally, and he also lost 40 pounds doing the Shred 10 program, and started an exercise program and the Shred 10 program, and he was able to lose 40 pounds, and he's kept it off now for a year and a half. So when I started it, after a few weeks after I put him on it, I was like, okay, I already eat pretty well, and I tried to eat fruits and veggies every day, but I knew I wasn't getting the 7 to 13 servings that they were talking about. So it was just a godsend for me. I had chronic constipation for 7 years. I took a laxative every day for 7 years. And since I've been doing this and changed my eating habits to more plants in general, and also being on the Juice Plus, my chronic constipation has gone away. My sensitive tooth got better. My achy joints, oh my gosh, I would have achy joints. I would drive to Houston to see my mom, and I would get out of the car and felt like I was 80 years old. My achy joints are better. I'm at my ideal body weight. I was a yo-yo dieter my entire life. I've been up and down. And within the last 6 years of the Juice Plus and drinking the shakes, I've been able to maintain my ideal body weight without having to count calories, which is just so refreshing. And it just takes a lot of energy to count calories all the time. And it's so wonderful not to have to do that anymore. So when I first decided to put my husband on the Juice Plus, I'm a cheapskate. I admit it. And I just wanted to know, well, how can I get it for the best price? So she said, oh, well, you can pay $50 and become a rep. And I said, $50, that's all? And she said, yeah, it's $50 a year. So, and then I would get, it's kind of like I was wanting to do the family discount program. And so I did that and made back my rep fee within a couple of orders. So then I started telling my entire family about it. I was not intending this to be a business. I was a full-time nurse. I really enjoyed my hospice work, and I just wasn't planning on adding anything else to my plate. And I just was going to just take this. But after I had really delved into the research and done more of my own study on nutrition, I couldn't keep my mouth shut, and I started telling my family and my friends and my siblings and the people that I worked out with at the gym. And all of a sudden, I was in this whole hog, mainly, really, to help people get healthier. I really wasn't looking at this as a great income stream for me. The residual income kind of went over my head. I didn't really understand all that. I just was telling people because I knew it could help people get healthier, and preventing disease is so much easier than treating diseases. So, but after a while, my grandchildren, my daughter and my grandchildren moved to Boston, and I got really tired of begging for time off from work. I was working full time. It was hard to get time off. I wanted to go spur of the moment if she needed something. And so I went part time with my hospice work and built up my Juice Plus business to replace the income that I was missing out on. And so it's just awesome. I went to see them. They've just moved back to town, thank goodness. But they were up there for 4 years, and it was just a godsend for me to be able to go up there and still work my business when I was up there. I could help my daughter with daycare and just giving her a hand while I was up there and visiting, but I could still work my business from there. So the time freedom and the flexibility has been amazing for me. And yeah, I have a comma in my business income now, and it's awesome because I'm able to pay the house note and our car payment, and I'm looking forward to really revving this business up, and my husband and I are seeing this as a way to totally supplement our retirement income too.